Greta Schulz, author of Sell Is Not to Sell and founder of Schulz Business. I want to talk to you today about price cutting to fix problems. So often, especially today in this whole, economic craziness that we're in, you will go in and talk to a potential prospect and they'll say, I really like what you have, but we just really can't afford it. We just really don't have the budget. And we'll say, well, how about we give you 10% off or give you this or, cut this and we try to fix these problems with cutting the price. Let me explain to you that it has nothing to do with money. I know that today people are much more conscious of the way they spend money. And so they should be. We always should have been, and we weren't. We got a little fat and happy there for a while. So people are definitely more conscious today of the money that they spend. But because we're more conscious doesn't mean that we are not going to spend a certain amount of money to buy something that we believe has value. And when we believe it has value, we will find money to do it. Rarely is the problem, boy, if it was a little bit less expensive, I would do it. That's a great tester to see if you will discount, but whether they want it or don't want it, that rarely is going to change the outcome. So it's really important to make sure that, number one, when you first meet with somebody, you ask a lot of really good questions and you understand things like what happens if they continue doing with what they're doing? What happens if they don't make a change? If they, implement your product or your service, what difference will that make in their organization potentially? If it's successful, what kind of success will they have? And is there a monetary attachment to that? If you can understand those things, it will help them self-realize that it's worth the money that you're charging. So that's what's really important. It's the work we do previous to that as opposed to when we get to the price, because the price is merely subjective, and if they believe that what you're going to bring to the table is going to make sense, they will spend the money. And if they don't, they won't anyway. You'll end up discounting yourself to a point where they still are saying no. You continue to discount yourself, and then you go around and chase them to see if you can, get them to do it anyway. So it has very, very little to do with money. So don't let money fix problems with your prospects, because it doesn't. If you like some of these little tips and things, I have something that I think you might really like. It's a video that comes to you every month, but it's much more in depth than this. These are meant to be 30 seconds to a minute, and a couple of little tips you can use as you go out on, with your day. What these are is a 30 or 40 minute actual training that you get every month, and it really does give you some in-depth information. There's usually some paperwork, kind of a cheat sheet that goes along with it that you can download. So there's all sorts of other little things that go with it that's a little bit more in-depth than these, though I think, I'm hoping that you're enjoying these little tips and they're helping you. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and click below, and you'll get yourself one. You can look at it and see if it's something that makes sense to you. If it does, great, and if it doesn't, I will see you next week.